Hey guys. So, first thing I want to say is thank you so much for all the love in the comments last night and today. You've really made me feel welcomed back, and I really appreciate that. Second is when I was trying to decide what do I say today, I went to bed last night asking God, tell me what to say tomorrow, and woke up this morning and said, tell me what to say today. And God has a way of helping you figure out what to say. Anyway, before I talk about the present, which is where we're going to start, I have to go back to the past. Whenever 2005, whenever Hurricane Katrina hit Louisiana, I'm from Louisiana, y'all know that. I was a mess. I lived 2.5 hours away from, still 2.5 hours away from New Orleans, and the threat was nowhere around me. It was 2.5 hours away, but I could not get away from that television. I could not get away from the news channel. I would wake up, go through the motions of getting my kids ready for school with the news on in the other room. I would get them to school and I would come back and I would sit in front of that television and I would cry. And I would watch them pulling people out of homes and I would cry. And I would watch them rescuing people from rooftops and I would cry. And I would watch the people stuck on the bridge with no food, no water, and I would cry. I just sat in front of that television and immersed myself in the tragedy that was Hurricane Katrina. And I cried and I cried and I cried. I was no good to myself or to anyone in my home. All I did was cry. Fast forward to last night. Last night, our country went in and bombed nuclear facilities, dropped 3 bombs from what I understand. I'm not here to talk about if that was the right thing to do or the wrong thing to do. I'm not here to talk about the left or the right. I might mention news channels a little bit, but as far as what has happened, I'm not here to talk about that per se, but I'm here to talk about how we can let it affect us. However, when we're rooted in who we are, and we are rooted in the idea that we are our own sovereign being, we can rise out of the chaos and the crisis emotionally and mentally. It's absolutely okay to be responsible and keep up with what's going on. But we do a disservice to ourselves and the people that we love whenever we allow the news cycles to inundate our minds and our hearts. If I didn't say it 1,000 times, I didn't say it once last time I had spirit mail. Proverbs 4:23, guard our hearts with all diligence, because out of it are the issues of life. Whenever we allow so much stuff in, especially in a crisis situation that we can't do anything about, when we allow that in to penetrate our hearts, we allow our bodies to be disserviced by the mechanism of the autonomic nervous system, right? So the way that works is whenever we're in alignment with ourselves, our bodies work in a way that the core is nourished with the flow of the blood and all that other stuff. But whenever we're out of alignment, when we have a sense of fear, all of that stuff goes out to our extremities to be able to get us away from the danger. Here's the crazy thing is our body, our mind, our subconscious mind doesn't know what's real and what's perceived, or what's real and what's not real. So whenever we're letting the news cycles inundate our minds, we're telling our subconscious mind we're not safe. And so what's happening is our bodies are getting prepared to get away from the threat. Hang on just a second. It's the fight or flight thing that everybody talks about. But that blood goes to our extremities. So whenever we focus on things like that, to a fault, I'm going to say, we're doing a disservice to our own personal body. And we're doing a disservice to the people around us that we love and that count on us or look to us for advice or any kind of assistance in any way. So I challenge you as a person to be rooted in the sovereignty of who you are and to rise out of the chaos of this situation and to help others do the same. It's okay to be responsible and know what's going on. But when I had a friend that called me earlier and she said, I just can't stop watching the news. I was up till after 3 o'clock this morning and I just can't stop watching it, and now I'm worried and blah, 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 and all of that stuff. And I said, this is what I want you to do. I want you to go find a good comedy and turn it on. I want you to distract yourself. I want you to allow yourself to take a mental vacation from all the chaos about this nuclear facility and whatever else is on your mind. Take a mental vacation from it. Distract yourself. Read a book. Watch a comedy. Go walk out in nature and challenge yourself to hear the different sounds of the different birds, because we can walk out in nature and ruminate over the chaos in our mind, right? But challenge yourself to hear the different sounds of the different birds in the trees. Challenge yourself to name the trees that you pass by, or to name the flowers that you pass by. Challenge yourself to take a mental vacation from what's going on out there, because what's going on out there right now has no control over who you are in this moment unless you hand that control over. Now, I believe that the news channels would love to keep you pulled in and engaged. I believe that. I don't know what their motivation is. You hear all kinds of different theories about it. But I also know that because once I did start watching the news again, because after Katrina I stopped watching the news, I realized that I was not helping myself at all by allowing myself to be so controlled by that. So I didn't have a TV in my house for a long time after that because I was a news junkie. But now that I've started watching the news again, not all day long, but I will listen to CBS, ABC, MSNBC, CNN, Fox News. I listen to all of them. And I love, kind of like a sport, now I can kind of laugh about it. It used to make me angry, but now I can kind of laugh about it whenever somebody says, they said this, and then you go back and find the clip from where they said it, and you listen to the whole thing in context, and they didn't say anything at all like what the other person said they said. They took a tiny little something and pulled it out of context and blurted it all over the news saying this is what they said. These are grown people. These are grown people intentionally manipulating us. What is their purpose? I don't know. I can't do anything about it. So I have to make up my mind that I'm going to be angry about it, or I'm going to look at it as a sport and laugh about it, or I'm just going to ignore it. Most of the time I do the second, because they think they fooled me, and I'm laughing because they didn't. And I think everybody should take a moment to do that whenever you hear something that's just way out there and you think, how could a person ever say that? Well, I challenge you to go back and look and see, did they actually say it? Because even this situation right now, some news channels are saying that this person's going to be on board, or this person's thinking that we're horrible, or, all of those things. They're all saying different things. And we can allow ourselves to get sucked in and get real passionate about whatever it is that's happening out there. And it doesn't do us any good. And we can't change that chaos. What we can do is remove ourselves from the situation and give ourselves some self-love. Give our mind a break. Give our hearts a break. And then just find the things in our day that are worth celebrating. Find the things in our house that are worth celebrating. Find the things in our neighborhoods that are worth celebrating, or even in our towns that are worth celebrating. Look for those things that are good. It's in Philippians 4:8, I think. Whatever things are good and beautiful, focus on those things. Focus on those things. Because, like I said, when we have to, for Proverbs 4:23, guard your heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life, or out of it come the issues of life. If we allow ourselves to focus on the chaos, we bring chaos into our life. Not only more of that same news, but the energy of chaos. And then we have chaos in our house. And then we have chaos in our day. So, and I mean, if anybody out here, and I would think that most of my followers would have heard some things about manifestation and law of attraction. And they say, I'm sorry. To find the feeling that if you want to manifest something in your life, then allow yourself to feel as if it's already done, right? Actually, Jesus says the same thing. I'm a firm believer that Jesus actually taught manifestation, is what he taught. But he said to pray and then believe as if it's already happened. That's Jesus that said that. So it's kind of the same thing. So whenever we're not thinking about what we're thinking about, and we're allowing ourselves to feel the emotions of the chaos, we're manifesting that chaos in our life. That's my opinion. That's been my experience. And I would be willing to bet that if you stopped and looked back at certain situations in your life, you will probably see that you possibly could have manifested that too. Because manifestation, law of attraction, is not just about bringing good things into your life. Manifestation and law of attraction works both ways. Because out of our heart come the issues of life. So whatever we're feeling in here is what we're bringing out into our world. Anyway, you guys know what I'm saying, and I probably repeated myself 1,000 times already. My point is, let's stay rooted in the sovereignty of who we are and rise from the chaos. We can do that. We're rooted and we're rising, and I love each and every one of you. Thank you for being with me today. Go out and have a super duper day. Bye.